Well, fair enough. Willie, go ahead.
Hello. Hi, I'm Willie, and I'm playing Henry Lehman, the eldest Lehman brother.
Hello, my name is Kershaw, and I'm playing Emmanuel Lehman, the middle Lehman brother.
I'm Adam Kampouris. I'm playing Meyer, aka the Potato Lehman, who is the youngest, but always caught in the middle.
Perfect.
I'd like to point out that Willie is not a mononym. My last name is Repoley. I just wasn't doing the assignment.
What drew me to this play?
Honestly, for me, it's the challenge. As an actor, I'm always looking for what's the next challenge I can set for myself. And for the longest time, I thought it was going to be a one-person show, but this is basically that. Unfortunately, I'm not totally alone, but it still feels that way in terms of its scope and it's the way the storytelling. It's very challenging, and checking that box.
I read this play for the first time 2 years ago, and ever since I read it, I was like, okay, this is something I want to try. Similarly for the challenge, it's it requires every tool in the toolbox. So I was really excited to have an opportunity to be a part of a production like this and try to scale that mountain every single time.
Without breaks.
Without breaks, no breaks, 0 breaks.
The first time I read it, I just thought, this is not like anything else I've ever read or been a part of. And that was enough to get me interested. I didn't feel like doing another ordinary play with a kitchen sink and all of the, a realistic play. This is exploding what a play can be in what felt like pretty exciting ways.
Or maybe there aren't any, and we'll just skip this question.
It's easy, no. I think the biggest challenge for me is just staying present in the moment that we're portraying at any given time. It's really easy to get swallowed up by the scale of everything that we're doing, but I find the most success in staying present in whatever moment we are and then worry about the next moment when we get there.
Because each act is its own play and it spans so much time, and within each act we spend so much time, but it really kind of feels like going from one era to another when we get to the next act. For me, it's kind of tuning into the slight shift in style of just how people carry themselves, how people talk to one another. There are shifts. People change, how people interact, how people behave culturally is different scene to scene, so I've just been trying to tune into those clues that are in the text and also watch my fellow brothers here who do have a sense. Willie has a really good sense, I think, of tuning into the time, the period, different periods, so I often look to him for guidance as my eldest brother.
So the eldest brother is there for Henry is always right. I can't say the same for Willie, but Henry is always right. There's the other side of the coin too, though, which is, this isn't history. It's based on real people who did real things, some of which are represented here. But I mean, the playwright says at the very beginning, this is not a historical representation of anything. These are my characters. It's my creation. It's not like, when we did Frost Nixon in 2018, when I'm like, yeah, I read David Frost's giant autobiography. I listened to all of his interviews. I watched his TV shows, because that was portraying real people in this real historical moment. And this feels outside of that somehow. That the play itself, is based in history, but is actually something very different and much bigger. It's some kind of great big American myth. Very much like, I think, Greek myths, in that they're not almost meant to be taken literally. They say something, but the whole thing is a metaphor more than a history lesson. It's in Greek myths, our heroes are terrible people who eat their children.
Yeah.
That's basically the same here, just not quite as literal on the children eating. But it's a story about gods and monsters, and not textbooks in history in that way.
I think, so my favorite scene is Act 3, Scene 2, titled Rude. And it's not because of anything that I'm doing in that scene, but I love watching the meet cute between Bobby Lehman and Ruth Lamar. I like watching these two because they really go for it. And it's just really funny, and I'm always trying not to laugh on stage. And if you see me trying not to laugh on stage, don't look at me. But it's really, I love watching that.
That's one of the few times that we get to watch each other on stage.
Mhm.
That's true.
Too.
Yeah.
And then we get to watch your
Yeah.
counter of that scene too, which is
Very different vibe.
very different.
Yeah.
I have three. I really love the dream sequences. That each of the brothers, they're not necessarily the original. Each of us has a dream sequence for a particular character that somehow just kind of rips open the facade that they carry themselves daily, day to day, the mask that we all wear publicly, and gets to the root of all of their fears and their anxieties and things that keep them up at night, things that keep them from sleeping while resting. And I just love these moments when the language changes and becomes bigger than the rest of the play and fanciful. Because to me, theater does magical realism the best, better than film can do. And those are those moments for me that really just pop.
I don't think I have a favorite scene, but I was thinking about my favorite moment, and I think because this play is, it's a little hard to do the elevator speech. It's a 3-hour play about capitalism.
Yeah.
But the moment to me that I think is my favorite is the first time the audience laughs. Because that's when you know it's gonna be okay. We're on quite a surprisingly light and fun journey through this potentially dark world together. And the laugh doesn't always happen in the same place. That's one of the reasons it's fun. Sometimes it happens 4 lines into the play. Sometimes it's more like 12 lines. Sometimes it's a little later. But once that happens, we're all in the same boat. We're all, to borrow a metaphor for later in the play, but we're all telling the story together. The audience is invested, we're invested, and we're not going to let each other